We're live. All right, the meeting's in order. If we could all stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Gotta say it. Just say it.
Yeah.
It drives everyone nuts that it's got the separation of church and state. I say amen. It's only 6, 7.
If we could keep the chatter in the audience to a minimum, please. I'll ask you to leave then.
Free country, we can talk if we want.
It's $1 fine.
rude.
It's $1 fine.
$1 fine.
And I like money, so fine $2 for every second they say no. Not when you're in this room. Ready?
Oh my God.
Carol Bellevue, $100. Richard Chamberlain, $200. Douglas Cowie, $200. Linda McDonald, $200. Charles Williamson, $200. Kristen Patch, $559.96. Christine Belanger is $100.
For a
Bob
total of,
Montefiore is $1 million.
for a total of $1559.96.
I asked $1 million. You guys did pass it.
It's gonna be unruly tonight.
Yep.
I can see that.
It's gonna be one of those days.
Give him 10 minutes, you just need coffee.
No, I only took a sip, so relax. I'm still calm.
It's gonna be like to receive sleep. Okay, you guys.
Tell me when you're ready.
Not yet.
Oh, you're not keeping them. Look at that. You're passing them out.
Move along. Bill.
Eleanor Cherry, $2,544.51. Andrew Bickham, $606.09. Joseph Bird, $922.55. Katie Blazik Ahern, $541.16. Gloria Bendu-Becerra is $444.53. Adamnar Chaldnar is $359.69. Karen Clements, $1,065.17. Aaron Coker is $719.98. Jeffrey Collins, $659.86. Katie Coppola is $110.82. Keith Culligan is $398.29. Michael Dame is $687.84. Kiki Donis Walls, $112.67. Robert Gagnon is $812.04. Andrew Gray is $454.28. Mary Lyons Hall is $147.30. Kip Kaiser is $777.92. Joyce Kegel is $462.37. Kevin Nealand is $1,186.81. Heather Lindsay is $611.87. Samuel Matos is $790.89. Sarah Parkhurst is $286.40. Jeremy Potter is $733.36. Brian Raines is $376.78. Wayne Robinson is $921.73. Michelle Suda is $100 even. Christopher Spitaleri is $1,261.33. Katrina Tennant is $427.10. Joshua Turner is $582.01. Olivia Wall is $33.25. Daniel Wicks is $1,583. Janice Weirs is $769.87. Jeremy Worcester is $530.70. Daphne Wass is $686.80.
For a total of $22,708.97.
Combined total of $24,268.93.
You lost your glasses at the same time?
We have one automatic ACH withdrawal to the Swayze School for $205,000.
Anybody want a break? Want a break? Send it over. Come.
I'm good. Thank you. Tell me when you're ready.
Okay.
All set. Aflac is $83.32. Garagast is $33.75. Block 5 is $227.93. Bruce Hermanu, P&H LLC is $512.53. Car Parts is $2.69. Center for Occupational Health is $57. Christopher Spitaleri is $172.80. C&M Cleaning is $1,683.34. Dragon Mosquito Control is $5,650. E&J Auto Parts is $171.22. First Flight is $236.69. Great American Financial Corporation is $317.09. Health Trust Inc. is $7.69. JP Cook Company is $236.20. Joyce Kegel is $28.68. Kevin Nealon is $24.41. Mainstay Technologies is $327. Mary E. Bartlett Library is $3,705.53. Samuel Matos is $223.56. Mitchell Municipal Group is $189. Quill Corporation is $25.58. Rockingham County Registry is $12.55. Schwab is $73.75. Seacoast Mills Building Supply is $8.32. Seacoast Business Machines $144.65. Searchy is $18.60. Stryker Medical is $472. Stratum Tire is $25. United States Post Office Service is $3,000 even. Valak is $271.45. Waste Management is $4,050.11. WB Mason is $135.11. Thomson Reuters is $45.52, and I think that's it.
For a total of $22,173.06.
And if you combine the Swayze payment, it comes out to $227,173.06. PD had 41 hours of overtime.
It's not holidays, it's full time in the election.
Andy, these are gonna be for you to sign.
I keep thinking we got everybody on board, but we don't.
Sorry.
I was standing and then I just realized we had rec checks. We have 5 rec checks.
Needs another sip of coffee. That could be dangerous. I'm gonna make a motion for the minutes.
No, we're not into minutes.
Oh, I'm jumping ahead, man. It's like we're all
Joyce still
stagnant for a while.
Oh, he's gonna shoot me.
It's all right, I might shoot back.
Go somewhere tonight or what?
No, I'm just moving it along.
Caffeinated.
Moving it along. I'm always caffeinated. It's like in my veins.
Okay.
It's all you, Joyce.
Weekly treasurer's report, 9/15/2020. Previous balance was $21,646. Deposits, $43,779.88. The payroll was $24,268.93. The payroll taxes were $6,168.20. Money to impact fees, $10,854. Total AP, $227,172.06. Money transferred from the money market account, $220,000. The account balance is $16,961.69. Interest earned year to date, $14.59.
Isn't that awful?
Our unrestricted balance is $3,634,188.19. With our interest on CDs year, $24,012.52.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joyce.
Appreciate it. When's the
What do you have for building permits?
tax bills go out? October?
Roy Hurlbert, 17 Dudley Road, an electrical permit for a new garage. Sean Hartnett, 104 Deer Hill Road, electrical for shed. Three Ponds LLC, 5 Tuck Drive for a new dwelling. Mike Smith, 99 Deer Hill Road, new dwelling. Deanna Marquis, 59 Stevens Drive, electrical for a split unit. Chuck Kamen, 459 Stevens Drive, plumbing for a new bath. Scott Bartholomew, 470 Route 125, a 36 by 60 farm stand. Robert Cole, 198 Middle Road, plumbing for a shower. And Grenice Brentwood, 62 Route 125 is a demolition permit. And Mr. Manscari, Health Officer, you are on notice for demo permit.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. There's two of them there.
See that?
Demo.
I'm just trying to visualize 62.
Got some commercial stuff going on. That's good news.
No, 62 is at the other end.
Sorry.
That was a trailer.
You have to be more specific.
62.
62 is down next to Burke's.
I'll drive down there and
Burke's
see
is
where
like
it is
66.
tomorrow.
62 Route.
Okay. Encouraged, we got some commercial stuff going on.
Downside is if you remove a 3,200 square foot building, you're not taxing it.
We're gonna replace it with something.
Not the 800,000 square foot building.
Oh, no, that's, we're not gonna get any of that. They may not put that in either.
Oh, they will. We just saw the
They
thing
do
for
two
it.
locations simultaneously in case something happens to the one. They have another one going in northwest. It's just how they do it.
Still take the money from 800,000 square foot building.
I know Kingston will be happy to take them.
Now you can make a motion.
I make a motion for the minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? One abstention?
I think did we have non-public too?
Yes.
Yeah.
I make a motion for non-public.
Second.
You weren't here.
I know,
You can't do that. I'll second.
you don't have to be here. I'm a member of the board.
Well, that's true, you did review it.
But you don't know if they were correct.
Absolutely.
You're gonna second it?
I did.
Yes. Any discussion?
No,
All in favor?
Abstain.
you're too quick with that abstention, slow down.
He must be in a hurry to get out.
Yes, he's going somewhere. too.
Yes,
He's got dinner.
going to bed.
He's got a hot date. With my pillow.
Keith, you ready?
Sure, good to go.
Good to go. So if you want to sit in that,
Wherever you want.
there's a microphone right next to that front chair.
Was nice,
It's a hot seat.
All right,
sure.
good stuff. Thank you guys for inviting us in. So tonight we have Liz, Lois, and Michelle. A couple of other members of the board had prior commitments. I know last year we kind of started trying to do an annual powwow before the appointment schedule. We haven't had anything official with our committee yet. I know last year we had asked for somewhere between a 0 and 3% increase, straw polling it. My guess is that number would be somewhere in the acceptable range again this year. I know as the the governing body, you guys make different decisions and we review the numbers and sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't exactly agree. I don't wanna apply issues, cause that would give a theme of negativity, but I'd say some themes that came up continuously from the board in 2021 were the blanket raises across the board for town and PD employees, as well as the command vehicle for the fire department when that was encumbered out of the current year's budget instead of going on the warrant. I know we had multiple times about discussions around that. I do feel like there's a better collaborative relationship recently between the two boards. I think we would all hope that that maintains going forward. I know Andy just shared with me a little bit of a surprise for this year where some New Hampshire retirement funds are being pushed back onto the town. I think we can anticipate the same thing happening at Swayze. Probably also fair to anticipate there may be less of a give back, if any, from Swayze this year, given what's going on right now. And I'm not gonna address anything about the co-op, but it's probably safe to say there may not be much coming back there either. I think, you know, with the COVID situation, who the heck knows what's gonna go on. So, you know, you guys have to do your best, we have to do our best. And I know, I believe personally, not fair to spring this on you guys right now, but I think one thing I am gonna bring up with the board, if it looks like we're gonna be in a tight budget situation, usually we see warrant articles and capital reserve funds more towards the end. I think it would be a fair ask this year if anything that could be decreased by 50% or put off for a year, depending upon how the town budget looks. I mean, that's, again, I'm 1 out of 7, but that's something personally I'm gonna be asking to be looked at this year, just in the, I'd say, spirit of some fiscal conservancy with what's going on. So, I hate talking. Any other surprises or anything else that you guys think might be coming our way, or that should be on our radar screen?
We should probably bring up what the school asked for today.
Do you wanna do that now or when you do your school budget?
While they're here, are you guys sticking around or leaving?
You got me till about 7:15.
Do you want to address my thing right now, or do you want to do it later?
Well, that has nothing to do with next year's budget.
No, but it has to do something with the financing, and if we don't approve it, then it could affect them.
I mean, realistically, we're not in session here, we can't really give you.
All right, just giving you a heads up,
Just awareness.
so you guys are aware of what's coming from the school aspect of it.
So, all right, sounds like there's one potential surprise.
So the school's looking for $38,000. The Swayze school's looking for $38,000 to do work in order to bring the children back into the school. $4,700 for PPE, $1,000 for air filters, $5,100 for a clean air tech air system. 5,100 and 27,300 for ventilator work, which I would assume would be air handlers.
This is for, they basically didn't ask for the funds that were available that we ended up going through, and the town was allotted so much money, I think $106,000. And so what they're doing is today was the last day, the deadline to be submitted. This came over at 1:03. They never submitted for their available funds, and I think the governor had come out and made an announcement there was $5.9 million for schools to use, and they didn't ask for a penny, and now they're asking to use our money. The problem is that we might run into is if they extend this program, this COVID situation, and we pay that, we have no more money available for us.
Also, the 5.9 was supposed to be available to the end of September, so I don't know if it's gone now, but
Karen might,
why
How-
did they
On the
ask?
school side.
yeah, I'm not sure on the school side,
Who had to
so.
ask, the school board or the BSA?
Molly,
Probably
the
to the
SAU is the one that
SAU.
asked for it today.
Good old Ryan.
But these things are already in, right? Because they put.
They've
the
already,
27
they've already done all this stuff, and what happened is they were paying for it, and instead of asking for the funding, now they're asking us to take the money out of our funding.
For when? For like now?
No.
So if I could just ask that you be
Oh, sorry.
recognized and state your name and all that, and we have a microphone that you're gonna be sitting at, but, so that's what we got from the school, and we're gonna have to discuss whether we're gonna, one way or the other, the money comes from the town, so whether we, if it's
exhaust that
even
money or not.
possible to use our gopher money to help the school, we don't even know that, if deadline was today to submit.
It is possible to reimburse the school for their expenses through the town. The agreement with Gopher is through the town, so the school would submit invoices to the town for us to forward on, and then the money would come back to the town that we would send to Swayze. The state will not send money directly to Swayze. Right now, the grant is approved until 10/15, we can submit expenses. We don't know if that will get extended further. It was extended already from 9/15, one more submission to 10/15.
What do we have left?
We have, after tonight's submission, which will be $12,509.39 for our fourth invoice, this will be, we'll have about 97 minus 12, so
97 minus 12, so
80 left.
85?
85 minus 38 would give us
40.
40 left.
47.
My concern is that they should have been asking for the funding that they have available to them, and they didn't ask for a penny.
Notwithstanding what the health officer has to say, I agree with him 100%, but it's our children from our town. So I think it's only fair that we pay the bill.
So is that a motion?
It is a motion.
Do I have a second to expend $38,322 from the Gopher money to the school?
I think they need to reach out to the state and get their own. I'm not gonna second it.
I think they were not
I'll be the bad guy.
forthcoming.
I understand that, but if there is no money, there is no money. Then it comes from
They've had
taxation.
6 months to ask
We don't know
for
if
it.
there's no money.
We don't.
They didn't ask. That's the
But-
problem.
And we have until October 15th to revisit this issue if we so desire.
Are we gonna turn in $38,000 back to the state and then get taxed?
No. I think-
Well, that's what you're telling. I mean,
Well, I want them
I'll
to,
second it.
so I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I really think they should be reaching out to the resources. They've had 6 months to do so. The governor's office is willing to help them do that. I feel that right now, we have until
Do we
extension
know the
for
governor's
October
office will
15th.
help them do that?
I know that because he came out and gave an announcement on that. He gave a press release, and he actually sat and listened to the 4.5 hours worth of BS that the administration spit out during a conference, and the governor called them out as being liars on that press conference. He actually said he was not being truthful with us, and that was for the administration. And I'll address that under my health officer issue when I give that spiel. But I think they had an opportunity for 6 months to do something. They failed to do so. I think they need to reach out to the governor's office. I was over at the school yesterday for about 2 hours doing the health officer inspections. They finally reached out to me after 6 months. I've been pestering them for about the last couple weeks. Karen had reached out to him before also. And I finally got a call yesterday and said, instead of doing the emails back and forth, and I had one call with Chris Andruski, the administrator, last week for a little over 9 minutes, 9 minutes and 26 seconds, I think it was. And he talked to Rich Murphy for under 5 minutes. So 15 minutes worth of his time, and then he regurgitated stuff that was 2 years old, not even related to COVID. I think they've known that they've had 6 months to do this. Karen's reached out to them several times. I've reached out to them. They finally reached back out to me yesterday. I did the inspection, and they were very ill-prepared on what they needed to do. And they were trying to jam through to get the information together so they can submit it to the state today and reach out. And I know they called Karen earlier today to find out who they need to contact at the state. It's like last-minute stuff. They're inefficient. And for them to send an email at 1:03 to say, hey, can you guys put the money through for you, I think it shows the lack of efficiency and the lack of proactiveness of the school administration. And they've had, again, 6 months to do the same stuff we've been doing. We were granted $106,000 as the town. I know the governor came out and said there was $5.9 million available for the schools. and they failed to ask for that money. If they have until October 15th, I would say we defer this until our next meeting and see if they can actually get off their duff, and that's me being nice, and actually pick up the phone, call the governor's office, do what they were supposed to be doing for the last 6 months, instead of pretending that they were working really hard when they're doing other types of training that they shouldn't be doing and worrying about getting back into school. They just didn't do what they were supposed to. I would say we defer this for 2 weeks, and if that time we have to make a decision, I wanna see that they've actually reached out to the governor's office and done their due diligence before they just basically pass the buck for us to basically save her tush because she didn't ask for something. And that's me being very nice.
So, Ken, would you be willing to withdraw your motion to table this till the 29th? But on the 29th, we would like a rejection letter from the school that they actually applied and were rejected for the funds.
I will.
And I'm fine with that.
So-
I'm fine with that. Yeah. I
You
think,
better with that?
I'm a lot better than that. I wanna see that they
I think
did something.
inefficiency was kind, I think incompetence is the word I would say.
Well, that's gonna be something I discuss when I do the health officer review.
What was the total figure?
38,000.
A little over
What's your
38, it was 38,322.
Let me remind you, as Andy asked before, if you have something to say, please identify yourself because we're recording and so people will wanna know who you are. We know who you are. but
Well,
people out there-
more than identify yourself, raise your hand and wait to be called on, please. Anything else, Keith?
I would say that's it from my personal thoughts. I don't know if anybody else from the committee wanted to quickly chime in on anything, and other than that, I'm good.
Mrs. Furrier?
How did you know it was good?
You want the nice piece?
Yeah.
No, I'm probably loud enough. This is not, specific, I just had a question about when you read the checks. I don't know if I heard correctly, but I believe for the chief of police, the checks are for weekly, right, for payroll?
Yep.
For weekly, I believe there was one for the chief of police for over $2,000, is that correct?
Mhm.
How is it possible that if she is part-time, she racks up $2,000 in 1 week?
I'll let Karen go.
During a state of emergency, she's allowed to exceed her 30-hour budgeted hours that she's restricted to under the New Hampshire retirement rules. So while the state of emergency is occurring with the pandemic, she's allowed to work excess hours.
Okay,
So
and
last
does,
week, she worked
does she get
66
overtime for that? Like,
She
is it
does. So
like
she worked
time and a half
66
or
hours
double
last
time
week.
or whatever?
Yep, so
She worked
66 hours.
So 40
She
hours.
works 66 hours and she's,
And we did have a couple incidents that happened last week that just necessitated the need for the overtime. That I won't get
how
into.
many police officers do we actually have now on the job?
We have 2 in training, 3 here.
Not in training.
We have a full roster of part-time officers and 2 full-time officers,
Yep.
2 full-time officers.
No, well, and then the
Yes.
chief.
and then the chief.
2 certified full-time officers. We have more, but they're in training.
And they can't go out by themselves and do
Correct.
anything, right? So it's 2 officers and the chief. Okay, thank you.
And part-time.
Lois, did you have anything for the budget committee?
Follow up to the question she has.
If you could just go over to the,
Like I said, I think you can hear me.
well, it's not us, it's,
Oh, the screen, okay. Scare people.
Name, name.
Lois DeYoung, Paulie Fallsburg, Budget Committee. The chief, now you said that she was overtime, now she's on salary, or she's hourly?
No, she's hourly. She's a full-time, but
She's hourly.
she's hourly.
hourly right
She's
now.
hourly.
She's hourly.
Yep.
And the
If she was salary, there would be no overtime. Michelle, did you have anything?
Oh, wasn't really very much.
All set, thank you.
All right, with that, we'll close the budget committee portion of this, and are we doing Mill Road Bridge now, or are we doing department heads?
No leverage. Department heads will be in 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. Steve?
Bob
Bob,
Stevens.
sorry.
Bob Stevens.
Bob?
You were half right.
Yeah. Should be half right.
Close, actually, probably a third.
Come on up to the hot seat.
That's awesome. You're half right.
It's better than half wet.
Yeah, that's true.
Don't worry about it, we all.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whatever you wanna,
I'm gonna get you close to the microphone and if you could identify yourself, please.
Bob Stevens, Stevens Associates Consulting Engineers. Good evening.
Good evening.
how you doing?
So talk to us about the Mill Road Bridge.
Okay, so our design is just about wrapped up. We've talked to New Hampshire DOT about their reports on inspection and status of those, what items they're most concerned about, which is pretty well in line with what we interpreted from reading them. And we have prepared a cost estimate for the construction. The repairs are gonna consist mostly of excavation underneath the footings that should have been performed before they were cast originally, and then backfill with concrete to support the structure in the areas where the state right now feels it's not supported. And a few other less consequential repairs. The main thing that we should talk about tonight, in addition to those repairs and the cost estimate, are to make sure that we're meeting the town's goals. So I just want to be clear before we wrap up that we're all in agreement on what those goals are. So we have a summary letter which we'll issue tomorrow if you folks are in agreement. It's a design summary, but the goals that we've basically assessed for the project from the proposal phase through now is to extend the service life of the existing bridge up to 25 years, to reduce the construction costs, address significant deficiencies noted in the recent NHDOT inspection, such that the next or future NHDOT inspection would likely achieve a satisfactory or good rating, which on the inspection report would be generally state 1 or state 2. And maintain the bridge's current capacity at 15 tons as posted. So, to do that, we're proposing we backfill under the footings. We've got to excavate out some soil there that's been eroding from water flow since the bridge was constructed. We do not see the need to replace or sleeve the archway. We think that's a waste of money. I think the state agrees. There's signs of deflection. I'm confident those happened mostly right around the time it was constructed.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
The state agrees with your assessment?
I think
With the
so.
sleeve?
I'm sorry, the last part?
The sleeve, the
Yeah.
part, okay.
Yeah, well, we talked to them about it, and they generally agree that the deflections there are not a major concern. And, but they will have a chance to review the design, and if they feel otherwise, they can let us know that. So that's the whole purpose of the design review. But it's, in our judgment, it does not need replacing. We think that the deflections happened when it was constructed. These things generally happen when boulders are used as backfill, especially near the edges of the structure, and the point load from the boulder causes the structure to deflect a little bit. And if so, it's been that way for 50 years, and there's no sign of deflecting further. We've also contacted the town, that is Wayne, and asked him about this, and he says they've been, I don't want to speak for him, he's right here, but he says that the town has regularly inspected that. They noted the deflections, and for 20 odd years, he's been checking those on a regular basis, and he hasn't seen them exacerbate at all.
Okay.
So, it would be a lot more money to sleeve it, and we don't think it's necessary. The arch itself is in darn good shape, actually. The metal appears to be very, very sound. It needs some surface preparation, some rust removal, and some recoating. We're gonna underpin the arch and wing wall footings to mitigate the scour, and we're going to repair the concrete wherever it's spalled or cracked. It's typical when you do a repair like this to go in and just try to get the surface of the concrete as much as possible back to newish. It's usually just a surface treatment to the concrete. It'll improve the appearance and it will lessen the effect of weathering over time. And then there's a bunch of clearing that needs to be done, and continued maintenance beyond that. There's trees all over the place around there that are pushing on the walls and are, generally speaking, a bad idea. There's brush as well, and we're planning to install a chain link fence behind the guardrail that's out there now on the south side or southeast side, the Wilson side, I guess.
Downstream side?
Yeah, I guess that's right. And those are the major repairs.
While you're there, can I just ask you a question? What is scowling?
Scour it's erosion. So if water's just sitting on sand and gravel, it just sits there, but if water's moving, it has a force, it imparts a force on the thing. If you've ever been to the beach and stood in the surf, you feel it, the water just eroding around your feet and the surf's retreating. It happens in bridges as well. It's a major concern for bridge designers and stuff.
Thank you.
Any questions so far on what we're planning to do out there? So we have estimated costs, and the costs are, we usually give a low, medium, and high, and we have a contingency built into those costs. I know that the town has somewhere in upwards, more than $350,000 budgeted for this. Our estimate is $170,000 on the low end for the repair, and $290,000 on the high end. And we would recommend, though, that the town budget all of the money that it has set aside for this project, just in case the bids come in high. The reason I'm here tonight, I probably should have started with this, is that, I'm sorry, Karen?
Bob, is that just construction costs, or does that also include your fee to oversee the construction?
Our fee is already authorized for the construction, so it does not include that. And that was, I think that was clear early on in the proposal, when we estimated the costs. So, if you recall, we were weighing this against replacing the bridge, and the bridge replacement would have been over $1 million. So, we're confident that this will come in under the amount of money that the town has budgeted. There's a lot of factors that affect construction costs, timing, for instance. I came in here tonight because, the design is 95% done. But if we can get the town on board, so submit the drawings and this design summary letter, which you'll receive tomorrow, and get a review and get the state's review, we can advertise the project this fall. And as dry as it is, it'd be a great time to do it. It's working with contractors and bids. It can be really advantageous to come in at the end of the season, like the construction season like this. Someone might have a crew that they want to keep busy until Christmas, and they're running out of work, and there aren't a lot of small projects to fill in cracks for contractors. I mean, fill in cracks in their schedule, not in the bridge. So we could hit a home run if we advertise it this fall. And so we've been working hard to get this ready so we can advertise it this fall. A realistic target would have been next late summer and fall. But we think we can possibly get it done if we can get the permit approval through. We can possibly get it done and get the construction going this year. And if not, we would advertise it and let the contractors know that if the bids don't come in at a favorable fee, then we would either defer till next year
Looking for trust fund balances?
and have them build it then, or defer till next year and re-advertise in hopes of getting a better price.
Do you handle the permit process with the state?
All the permits, yes, all the permits we know about. If something comes out of nowhere,
Sure.
then we'll know. But, in fact, I have some copies of the permit application for, NHDES Wetland Bureau right here. The Comcom has already signed off on it earlier this week, or last week rather. And, I need to sign off on these, and somebody from the town, presumably Karen, needs to sign off on them as well. Maybe Andy, I don't know, but, so, if we can get all that lined up, get the permit applications in, a lot of them are permit by notifications, and we believe we can do it. We have a meeting next week with, the River Advisory Board, and that's another reason why we're here now, is that we've gotta go and present this to them.
Well, we've had experience with getting permits in the past where the state is not really quick about things like that.
And so, we're familiar with that process, and although I'll admit, I'm not terribly familiar with it, we have people that work for us that are intimately knowledgeable about the permitting process, and they say it should be rather quick.
Oh, good.
And we've also, NHDOT is an important part of the review process, and they've assured us that they can turn this around quickly as well.
Okay,
This bridge does not have to adhere to all the NHDOT state-funded standards. It's because it's not being funded by the state, so they can review it rather quickly.
thank you.
Another question, not to put you on the spot. In your expert opinion, you said it would be up to 25 years of life extension. What would the minimum be?
We're confident we'll get 25 years out of it. So, the thing that's very important for the town to understand though, is that the municipal bridge project at the state is opening up again. And towns can get their bridges on it again, it was closed. And the funding is all used up until 2030. But you remember the reason that we thought it was a good idea to do this is that the state municipal bridge program will replace the bridge and pay for 80% of the cost under the current rules. So we couldn't get on the list at the time, and we weren't on the list, and the list is 10 years out. So we need to get the bridge from now to some time after that 10-year period, when the state will pick up 80% of the tab. Our other option was to replace the bridge complete 100% on the town's dime now.
So you're suggesting, which is what we talked about before, to repair, apply, because we couldn't, so you're telling us now we can apply now to be on the bridge repair list for the state? Is that
Yes.
open now, that list is open?
It's supposed to open this year.
So we should, going forward, should at least do that, get on the list.
Exactly.
And then whatever we decide in terms of, I think we all did discuss about repairing the bridge and trying to extend the life of the bridge until we were able to get on the list and get funding from the state and replace the bridge if that was the direction we were gonna go.
That's right.
So I think that is exactly what we talked about before, so.
The other thing I would clarify is that all bridges need maintenance and repairs,
Right.
all right? And so this isn't gonna be maintenance and repair free for 25 years. The bridge is gonna last 25 years, and it's gonna need normal maintenance and repair over those 25 years.
And I think we, I'm not pointing to Wayne, but I think we do a diligent job of, pretty good job of making sure that everything is kind of up to snuff as best we can, within the budget constraints that we find from year to year, but, the roads are taken care of, the bridges, we do keep an eye on those things. I think Wayne's done a really nice job of doing that over the years, so.
Well, I agree. I mean, I'm the president of the town, you haven't
Yeah.
heard from me about any of that, have you?
Yeah, no.
So,
So we're pretty happy so far, yeah. Okay.
My only point of the question was that we don't spend 300,000 in 5 years, the bridge fails.
I understand the question, it's a good one, and if I, as a town resident, I can tell you I'm very concerned about that too. This bridge will last 25 years, but we should plan to replace it.
In 10.
Well, we should get on the list, or sometime 15, 20.
Yeah.
But if we wait till the last minute, we're gonna be standing there with a 25-year-old repair on a 75-year-old bridge, and it's gonna take us 5 to 10 years to get the money to replace it.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
So what was your estimate again for the top end of what you,
290.
170.
plus how much for, just in case? You said 3 something.
Whatever, I thought the bridge, but the budget for the bridge was about 380,000 or 365,000 or something along those lines.
That's our full capital reserve,
Yeah.
right?
I think it's 350, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's, actually, I think it's 325, but
325?
that's my, I don't remember off the top of my head.
So if there's nothing else that comes along that's urgent,
Yeah.
I would advise the town to make sure they have that much money in case something unexpected comes along. And,
So we will be receiving your summary tomorrow.
mhm.
Okay.
There's not,
Yep, it's all picked up, I just got one or two minor edits to make for typos and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we got plenty.
And you should have
We have
received an email with the design.
yeah, I just wanna take a motion to proceed, not to exceed,
Some of the number of months.
with a number, with some fail-safes built into it.
I'll make a motion,
Well, we need to know
to
what the-
proceed with a motion not to exceed more than 350,
All in.
all in.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second to
Is that the whole,
hold that.
The whole thing, soup to nuts.
my,
So is
I
this,
understand what you're saying.
That gives you 60,000 in contingency on the high end.
My only concern is that this is not the only bridge that we have if something happens.
Right.
I would hate,
That'll still give you
unless the plan is to go
200,000.
before the town and town meeting and ask to start again replenishing the bridge repair fund, because that's what this is the bridge repair fund.
We
It's
set
not
this
just the
fund
mill-
up knowing that we had to replace this bridge.
No, I understand that, but it's not just a Mill Road Bridge Repair Fund, it's bridge repair for the town, and if something happens, you know, what was the, what
We'll
was the?
never have enough money in the fund
No.
to repair a bridge if it fails. The bridge will have to be
What was it?
closed.
What was the dam over there, which is also coming out of the bridge fund, right? The dam, the Exeter Dam that we had to do
There is no, it's not the dam, it's the bridge.
the bridge. Yeah, we had.
That was Cross.
Crossroad, that's right.
But we just did some repairs to it.
So
We
we're
didn't,
okay there for a while.
yes.
I'm worried that we would have zero money in that fund.
No, we're not zeroing out the fund. There's over 500,000 in there.
Okay, go ahead. What was your motion again?
320.
Three-
So there's a motion and a second for 320.
350,
it was
because you had 60,000, you had
Yeah.
290
Would you
plus
amend it to
60 is
320?
350. You want me to do
I'd be a
320,
little
I'll do
more
the
comfortable
320.
with 320. And we could
You
always.
think we can do it for
revisit if we need
320
more money,
max?
I think we can do it for 290 max. I'm just
So-
saying.
so
You
if
want a
we have-
contingency.
so-
You
so
need
what
a,
I'm
you need a
saying is-
percentage of contingency on the
So
290.
320, if we need more money, we can always revisit the bridge fund and put.
And
more
that's
money.
given a 10% contingency, and I think that's perfectly fine whenever you're doing a construction project.
Yeah.
10% is usually the minimum
So
I'm gonna put on.
320, is that what the
320, I'll make a motion for 320.
I think he has to withdraw the other motion.
Yes.
I'll withdraw the other motion,
I
And
withdraw
now-
my second.
and I'll make a motion for 320,000, not to
Okay.
exceed.
Thank you.
Are you gonna second
I'll
that?
second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of authorizing Stevens Associates to go full bore on the Mill Road Bridge with a max cap of 320? Say aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Motion carries. Full bore.
So
Okay, man.
we'll wrap this up with we'll submit it to Karen to have some kind of review done.
Yep.
And, we will move toward getting it out to bid.
Do you
And
need
then-
something signed?
Yeah, so I'm gonna make a motion
I
to have that
this
signed.
Yep, and I'll
That's
give
a
it to you
river-
as soon as I sign
river
it
project?
myself. Huh?
It's the river project thing? Is that what you're talking about?
This is the New Hampshire DES Wetland Bureau permit application.
Okay.
So,
I'll make a motion for that.
yep, so let me, I'll sign it and I'll give it to Karen and maybe I can pick it up tomorrow or something. Or she can sign it tonight and I'll just,
Is it Karen has to sign or do you?
Probably me.
okay, that's fine.
So I'm gonna make a motion
Second.
to do that. Second.
Motion and second to sign the DES permit. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Do you have any documents?
yes. I have an intent to cut for the Pilgrim Church.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I have several appointment slips. So I have one for Robert McCon as a part-time police officer.
Say that again, I didn't hear it.
Bob McCon, we approved him last week to start as a part-time police officer.
Okay,
This is his appointment slip.
Motion?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? You're right there.
I have Carolyn Coughlin, Christine Belanger, and Michelle Sudet as inspectors of election for 3 years.
Motion?
Second,
Did everybody hear the names?
yes. I'm the only deaf one, so I heard it.
No, I have a hard time.
I didn't hear it.
This is for Inspector of Elections, Michelle Sudet, Christine Belanger, and Carolyn Coughlin.
Yes.
Motion? and
Motion and a second.
Yes.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Gonna make the top line
I
down
got,
further.
this one is Kathy St. Hilaire for an alternate on the ZBA, the Zoning Board of Adjustment for 3
Motion.
years.
Second?
Motion and a second to appoint Kathy St. Hilaire as an alternate to the ZBA. Any discussion?
Nope, I wish her well since she's stepping right back in.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
And Michelle Sudet as an alternate member of the Conservation Commission.
Motion, or second?
Motion and a second to appoint Michelle Suter as an alternate to the Conservation Commission. Would you like to join the ZBA too? I have a motion and a second. Any
I make a
discussion?
motion to throw her on ZBA, whether she likes it or not.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations and thank you for serving.
On the ZBA too.
Tell me where to be and when.
Victim of circumstance, I've been doing that for years.
That happens.
I have gas and diesel prices, but I'm waiting for Suburban to come back in with a propane price, because I got the one from another vendor and it was much more competitive.
Okay. Did it for documents?
I don't know what you said,
Yes,
what'd you
I
say?
received this envelope
For
today.
fuel, she's
So
waiting for
there
bids.
is a person that is interested in buying a decommissioned cruiser. So it has not been
Open.
posted and this has not been opened.
So then we should save it until we post it.
Yep.
Can you read through the envelope, how much are they all?
Our lights are not really that great.
I can do the Kreskin moment if you would like. You wanna do the health officer thing now? or-
Yeah, I got a couple things. You do a couple things and then you can do your health officer thing and then.
Okay. We'll go into non-public after that.
So I'd just like to thank Daphne and her staff, as well as the highway department, the fire department, as well as we had some volunteers, Maria and Dana Hall, Becky Dunham, Carolyn Coughlin, Brian Duffy, Lois DeYoung, and Jonathan Ellis that helped out at the primary elections, as well as our ballot clerks, Carol Bellevue, Michelle Sudet. It's all about Michelle tonight. Joyce Kegel, Kristen Patch, and Christine Belanger. I think it was a very successful day with no problems.
Went very well.
So, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're gonna call off the regular election, right? We're just gonna.
Yeah, we're just gonna bypass the regular
I
election.
think it's a great idea.
Good luck.
I also received an email from, I'm not sure if she's a resident, but she wanted to thank us and the cemetery staff. Here's the email. Hi, my name is Liza Schultz.
Lisa?
Liza, L-I-Z-A, could be Lisa.
Liza?
Wanted to recognize the people that maintain the cemetery. I have to say that my mother's, father's, and nephew headstones after 30-plus years look brand new. I personally want to thank Wayne Allman, who I know scrubbed all the moss and debris off. I know the past 30 years the cemetery has grown quite a bit. To keep up with the way Brentwood has maintained it is impressive to me. Once again, thank you very much. I forwarded this on to Joyce, and she also wanted to recognize Wayne and the Highway Department for a lot of work they've done over there. that was nice to hear.
Yes.
Do you wanna do a quick ZBA update from last night, and then we'll go to health officer
Yes,
stuff?
Mr. Bryant was in last night, and he modified his request. He's having a survey done on Thursday, and it appears that there will be no encroachment to the buffer. So we have delayed any action until October 5th.
And,
Sir?
and
And,
there's a rehearing.
oh, there's a rehearing on the property on 111A and 125. Mr. Legacy of Northampton, who owns a house on Crawley Falls, has petitioned to revisit our decision, both at the planning board and the ZBA, on allowing a restaurant with a possibility of a drive-through. The town center information allows a restaurant to go into that property. However, he's contending that a drive-in is not part of the intent of the town center program. We disagree, and he will be allowed to have a rehearing with Bruce Stevens and myself, recusing ourselves from the zoning board of appeals.
Did we ever officially adopt town center?
Yes,
Yes,
The
20
town-
years ago.
A long time ago.
we should unadopt it.
Well, we're late now, fellas.
Especially if you
Well-
unadopt it when the guy's got an appeal going.
Election's coming up in March.
So you could put it on
Well,
the
it might be
ballot.
revisited, I don't know.
You could put it on the ballot.
Bob, health,
I don't know, just real quick, I don't know if anybody else has heard from residents about their assessed letters.
I got about
have
12.
heard- I've heard.
about 100 posts on Facebook.
I've heard, well, I've
I
heard
heard.
personally.
On Bergen
people
Talks,
who
I heard
got
about
their
that.
assessments and want to know what.
So-
what we're doing.
So did
And I
everybody
just
get a
said- here's
letter
what I
for their
said.
new
This-
assessment?
This is what I said, so everybody knows. Yes, the assessments were done and they're high, it seems like we're high. I knew that we lived in a very affluent town, and now I've had confirmation from the assessing company. And hopefully, as has happened in the past with the assessments going up, our tax rate will go down, but we won't know that until,
October or the,
yeah, for a little while. But hopefully that'll happen, and
so has everybody got a letter for the new assessment?
not everybody,
No.
but enough people have got a letter.
Cause I haven't gotten one.
I got one.
I think we're exempt.
So,
So we've heard it from a lot of people.
my assessment went up quite significantly, and I happened to Google my address, and Zillow gave almost the exact same estimate as KRT did, so, and I'm sure Zillow didn't have access to KRT. So that's just where the real estate market is.
And yeah, the real estate market is crazy.
And the way I explained it to the people that called me is, if we have a budget of $5 million and we set, and then the school, whatever, I'm not even gonna add that in there. But you have, let's say, $5 million and we're at $26 per thousand based on the valuation. Now everyone's got a reassessment, and that's why we do it every 5 years.
Yep.
So now you might be at $21 per thousand, because we're still only raising so much money.
Correct.
It's not just because your house
Tax
is
rate
here.
is set by the amount of property value,
Right.
Yes.
Right.
so.
The real estate market in town has really gone crazy. We had a recent sale on Cross Drive. It was listed for $529. The gentleman got $538, and he had to put a new roof on it. So it's going crazy.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're bidding
Yeah,
wars.
same on
for
Dudley.
houses, yeah.
The house next to, was advertised for like $589 and they got 30,000 more than what it was.
That doesn't lessen people's
It's
Fear.
crazy.
shock and
Oh.
fear
Crazy.
of what's going on.
Mine is
Mine
up
is-
103,000, so,
So
How
I'm
much did
glad
yours
I'm not
go?
the only one.
103,000.
Robin had a heart attack with hers too.
Yes, Bob.
I'm taking my engineer's hat off now, and I'm just a resident, right? So Bob Stevens, 60 Norfolk Drive.
Would you just mind coming up to the mic, Bob, just so that the folks at home can hear you?
You're very soft-spoken, we can't hear you.
So
They're hard
Bob
to hear.
Stevens, 60 Norfolk Drive. So if I'm understanding the discussion here right now, our tax bills aren't gonna go up meaningfully because
We don't know, we
I
don't
didn't
know.
say
We
that.
although
don't-
the assessment has gone up,
What has happened
The tax rate is
historically in the
going up,
past
going
is
down.
as the assessments have gone up, the rate has generally gone down.
The reason I ask is I don't think we've gotten our tax bill yet, but
No.
No,
I've
you
heard
won't.
from a number of people that their tax bill went through the roof. Have they gotten?
Their assessment.
Their
Assessments.
assessment,
So they're misunderstanding.
So their July tax bill was up
Yeah,
significantly
yeah.
because of the money that was spent from the money appropriated by the town in 2019. July's tax bill was up significantly. Now people are getting their reevaluations, which is up anywhere from 30 to some odd percent. The fear is that the tax rate will be the same on the new assessment, which would cause an incredible tax burden to a homeowner.
Yeah.
Theoretically, when the tax base goes up, the tax rate should go down. I think Keith can agree with me on that. That's kind of what should happen.
Supposed to happen that way.
Yes. Because you have a bigger pot to pay.
Basically the same.
I suspected as much. I didn't understand the questions I was getting, or I was hearing from a number of people actually, that, their concerns, so I don't know how much, you all have to say in the matter, but,
We have to reassess every 5 years, and that's the reason we have a capital reserve, so we don't have that big impact. We basically allot money to reassess, because legally, we have to do it every 5 years anyway. And you're supposed to be taxed at 100% of your valuation.
but we budget every year, so.
Correct.
And if the budget didn't go up a lot, then the
he's missing
tax
the
rate
point.
should offset the increase in valuation.
The tax rate should go down, but your taxed amount should stay the same.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You paid $10,000 last year, you're probably gonna pay $10,000 this year unless the school wants more money.
Keith?
So, keep the Pine Road, but just, I mean, on that, the reason for that reevaluation every 5 years is because property conditions change. So it's theoretically to make that spread more fair, you know, if your neighbor or neighborhood has increased in value, then, you know, your valuation coming up levels the spread against what comes out. I mean, whatever it is, you know, the town and the school and the county are going to spend what they spend, and then that's split across all of our valuations. So by it happening every 5 years, it just ensures that everything's up to date with what goes on. So, yeah, I mean, you open that and it can be jarring, and then if you start doing like, you know, the cocktail napkin math at home, you're like, all right, it's over. But it's supposed to make it more fair, realistic,
Yeah.
but enjoy the next couple months of conversation.
Ready for health officer?
Bob?
Okay, so I'm gonna do a health officer update. We've been reaching out to the school. Karen, how many times did you reach out for us?
I've been reaching out to them since June.
So, and how many times did you reach out? 3?
I think I reached out to Chris Andruski 5 times, and then I reached out to David Ryan twice.
So we got 7 times we reached out to the administration.
Since
I've reached
June.
out to the administration since June. I've reached out to them also. I finally went onto one of their Zoom calls, and they only opened a chat session that you could actually chat with the administration. And I asked the administration, when did they plan on reaching out to the health officer for the town? Because they needed to do certain things in order to open the school for PPE, for the sanitation stations, making sure the heaters were shut off, the hand dryers were shut off. The water fountains, they have to make sure that those are turned off, because they can't have those turned off. So there's certain things that they have to comply with. And as you know, we had multiple conference calls with the whole COVID situation. I call it the COVID factor. And Karen and I actually, there were so many calls, we started trying to divide and conquer, where she would take some and I would take some, because there was just so many calls. I mean, sometimes there was 3 a week. So there was a lot of information that I could have shared with the school if they just reached out. So Chris Andruski said during the call, he was like, when I said you hadn't reached out to the health officer once in the last 6 months, do you plan on reaching out to the health officer? And by the way, that's me. Since you haven't talked to me, this hasn't happened. And he said, that is inaccurate. We have reached out to Richard Murphy, who's the emergency person. And I did talk to Rick, and he said that they did reach out to him the day before they decided to go to remote for the whole co-op. And then they never reached back out to him until last Tuesday during the election. They actually called him. They spoke with him for a little over 4 minutes. And then they called me on Wednesday, and they spoke with me for 9 minutes and 26 seconds because I timed it. So within 6 months, they did 15 minutes worth of time. There were some emails going back and forth where I asked them to reach out to me. What are you guys doing? I sent an email. Rick had asked for their plans for emergency coordination. I asked if they had a plan for turning off the water fountains, or the hand dryers, and if they were putting the tape down to show the directions that the children have to walk in, stuff like that in school, setting up the hand sanitation systems, what's their plans, where do they have masks, signage, stuff like that. They sent an email yesterday, and they said, here's our emergency plans. I know the governor had come out and he told them that there was this funding that was available. They were informed of that, I think August 3rd or 4th, somewhere around that time frame. That, have you guys reached out for this gopher funding? Have you done this? As a matter of fact, I forwarded over to Karen, and Karen actually replied with the information to contact the state, that was a couple weeks ago, for who they needed to contact in order to go forth with this grant money that's available, not just the grant money that's available for the town, but what's available for those SAUs, that there's special funding that's set up just for the SAUs, for them to reach out for their PPE, for everything that they need, for plexiglass, stuff like that. Same thing we did for the town. And anybody that showed up for the election saw all the plexiglass that we were able to get. We have plexiglass here, there's plexiglass at the library. They sent a thing to me saying they did approximately 60% when I had a conversation with them for 9 minutes and 26 seconds last week. They sent a response to me yesterday, and they did about 60% of it. So I replied to it. I talked to Rick, and he said they sent me the same, they regurgitated, quote unquote, they regurgitated the same emergency plans that they have always had in place. It never addressed anything about pandemic. It never addressed anything about the COVID factor. So I replied to them. I sent that over. Also, Karen has a copy of that email. And I basically said, you've had all this time. You haven't given us a call. You haven't asked us for any of this information. What are you guys doing? I finally got a call from Rusty yesterday. It was, I think, 4:15 when he called me. I met him over at the school at 5:30. I was there for a couple hours. Walked him around, checking on things, and making sure that today they would be putting up the sanitation stations where they have to put them. And at that time, we had talked, and he said that he had given all the invoices and everything to Molly yesterday, so they can try to submit them for the deadline that was today for the grants. And then we came in and found out that they wanted at 1:03 today. Molly sent an email asking for us to pay for them. I still don't know where they stand on getting a declination from the state, or whether or not they've approached the state. Did they get money for that? Are they utilizing money for that or not? One of the things I found out yesterday is that the special education teachers did ask for plexiglass, but the administration never ordered it. They never processed that order that was asked for because they didn't think it would be worthwhile for them to do so. Well, if the teacher's specifically asking for it, because with special needs children, I can't guarantee that they're gonna keep their masks on, so they wanted the plexiglass to make like a T on top of a circle table, and I have them around it, and now they're protected by that barrier. In addition to that, the administration also did, they recommended, or they requested 4 buses, but they can have 22 students per bus. They have 66 students that are going to be taking the bus, so therefore they only need 3. 22 times 3 is 66. And they went ahead, the administration basically overrode the school board and tried getting 4. And then I know this school board basically had to go back through, and they had this discussion at the last meeting. They had to come back and say, no, we only wanted 3. So I have several things that I think they didn't do, and because of that, I'm concerned that they're sending over the bills for us. I'm also concerned that they're not doing what's in the best interest as far as the health officer aspect of it, and making sure that building is ready to open up. And they didn't take the proper precautions that they should have done over the last 6 months, and I think it's gonna have a financial impact on the town as a result of that. And for that, I wanna send a message, from the health officer standpoint, I think we need to send a message to them to say, you failed to be proactive, to do what you were supposed to do in your due diligence. And for that, I would like to make a motion of no confidence in the administration, similar to what the budget committee did last year, where they sent back and said, you guys sent 3 different times, they came before the budget committee with a false budget that was inaccurate, and they were told to correct it, and they kept on coming back, and that was also done with Molly and with Chris last year and with David. I would like to send that message clear, loud and clear, that they need to kind of step up and do what they're supposed to be doing, because they're not doing what's in the best interest financially, they're not doing a fiduciary responsibility to the town, and I have a feeling that we're gonna see an impact even greater than this $38,000 that they're asking for. I think it's gonna be far greater than that, because they failed to order plexiglass, they still don't have it. And I would like to make a motion of no confidence
In the administration.
in the administration, not the teachers, but the administration, and not even the school board, because I think the school board's been going back and forth with them. I think we need to send a message to them that we're concerned with the fact that they, for the last 6 months, they should have been doing the same thing we've been doing as a town, getting these cleaning materials, getting this stuff. I know yesterday Rusty had to run over to the Exeter High School in order to get stuff. Why is it over there? It's supposed to be here.
So
We have our own school.
I will second your motion, and I just want to explain, we know who Rusty is, we know who Molly is. Rusty's the facilities head for the SAU,
He replaced Dick Wendell.
and Molly is the chief financial officer for the SAU, just so everybody knows who we're talking about.
So,
Motion to,
Of no confidence.
in the administration of the SAU.
so I'll let this board vote, but I think it's above our purview to
I think we got.
sanction the administration of the school board. The school administration does not answer to us, they answer to the school board.
That's why I'd like to send, from the
And
health officer standpoint, I'm
Well-
saying I have no confidence in
So
it.
I think the health officer should send the school board a letter
I would
stating-
agree with that.
stating that you as the health officer have no confidence in the administration to be able to safely, have the kids safely returned to the school. 2 separate items of this board taking a no confidence vote in the administration of the school, and you as the health officer sending a letter to the school board. But the administration of the school falls under the purview of the school board, not us.
And
I think they dragged us into it though, because they're asking us to finance.
they're asking us as a town to finance
I
their
would agree with you
deficiencies.
otherwise, but respectfully, I disagree with it. We are involved now, because they've now asked us to fund their issues without ever doing the things that they should have done over the last several weeks.
But for them not asking for that funding, now they're asking us to basically bail them out. And I have a huge problem with the fact that they're asking us to take the municipal funding we were provided and now give them that funding.
I totally agree with you, I just don't think that it's the place of this board to have a no confidence vote in the administration of the school. But I told you I would let
Yeah.
Yep.
the motion happen. So, once we vote, then I'll let you talk, Carol, okay?
Well, I'd just like to say that if the health inspector has to write a letter, maybe the board, you could put in that letter that the board is behind you. Your board of selectmen is behind you all the way. At that vote of
We're going to
non-confidence.
take a vote, so.
Right, but I wanted to say that before you vote, I'm sorry.
So there's a motion and a second.
No confidence of the school administration.
Yes. Any further discussion?
Yes, I can't support that. I believe Bob is absolutely right, and I also believe in your contention that you should write the letter, because you are the one that found the problem. The financial thing, it's my belief that because there are children, that we have no other choice to honor the request because it affects our children.
And the
Right, but
problem
they-
with that is there's
We-
different
we-
budgets.
They,
No, I understand what you're
We're gonna
saying.
revisit
they don't
that.
have it, I mean, if they want money from us, I think
I have
we
the
as
right to
taxpayers
speak to
should
the
say,
No, I
no
understand that.
confidence.
I just wanna point out that we've already talked about
We
that.
deferred it
We're
for
gonna-
2 weeks.
Yeah, we're gonna revisit that in 2 weeks.
So I would support Carol's discussion that the motion be more that the selectmen support the health officer in his,
Well, what about his motion? We need to vote on that.
right, we're still discussing,
Oh,
this is the
alright.
discussion portion of the motion. So I will not support the motion, but I would support that the board supports the health officer in his lack of confidence in the administration. So would you like to say anything before I take a vote?
Well, I support the motion. I think we should send them out a letter of no confidence.
So, all in favor of the motion?
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Nay. So motion carries 3-2. Carol, did you have anything else?
No.
Before we go any further, are you also, do we have to take any kind of action with the health officer sending a letter, which?
We don't take that action, that's
That's
the
the
health
health
officer, whether if he wants to.
Send the letter and then ask us for an endorsement?
And I can work with Karen as far as formulating a letter and sharing it with everyone that's basically gonna say, I don't have confidence in their fiduciary responsibility, that they've met that fiduciary responsibility in order to secure the funding that they need,
Well,
and I'm
I'm
concerned
not-
with the
I'm
health
not gonna
officer.
tell
you as a health officer should not mention anything about fiduciary,
No,
it should be
no,
about the health and safety
Yeah.
of the children.
Students, yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Well,
that.
they didn't apply for the money. so
Yeah, they
couldn't-
didn't apply for the PPE.
Her, Karen's letter to them stating that the board took a no contest should talk about fiduciary issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bob?
I just want to say that I agree, I understand and I agree with everything that was discussed here right now. But as a resident, you are the leaders of the town, and there are times when, although you might have no say over an issue, it's really valuable to me that you guys step up and speak for us, you know, because we have a limited voice. And if the selectmen step up and do something like this now and then, I think it has power, and it makes the residents feel like their voice is being heard beyond the select board in other places. I think that your opinions, a vote of no confidence, other things like this, they carry a lot of weight, and I'm glad you do it, at appropriate times. I'm really thankful for it.
Liz?
Liz Faria, South Road. I also want to make the point that the SAU, instead of doing the things to get the children back to school, are working on their raises and the SAU 16 budget, that is the administration budget that goes into all the other schools' budget. So that's what they've been spending their time on, their 21, 22 SAU budget with this, they want to pass in less than a month. So that's what they've been spending their time on, their own raises. So it kind of bothers me that they're, schools are coming to us for money because they are already not doing
I guess the best way I could explain this, and I said this to several people at the school board, the administration, is if my building's on fire, I don't go out and make a hot dog on my grill while the building's burning. So with the COVID,
Of course
the
not,
way I
you
look,
have the heat from the building.
but with COVID, all right, fine, I don't go mow my lawn while my building's burning down. I think with the COVID factor, that should be taken priority of what do I need to do to manage this pandemic, this emergency. It's an emergency. I need to stop everything I'm doing and address the emergency. I think they failed to do so. They failed to address the emergency, and instead they were worried about other type of training, their new budget, the racial unity training, stuff like that they're implementing that has nothing to do with
They're
this.
working on their next budget, their next.
And 6 months was wasted, basically.
Unbelievable.
So,
Okay.
but I appreciate it, thank you. And I thank the board members for supporting.
Wayne, did you have anything for us? Come on to the hot seat.
Sometimes you gotta send a message.
Well, I'm getting ready for sand, so I went and, actually last year I didn't buy any sand, cause I had good amount
Yeah, I
out
had a
there.
lot.
And I still have about half. I usually get 2,000 yards of sand, I only need 1,000. So I went and I met with Chris Beebe and see if he could give me a price, cause we got the sand on him that year, he brought the sand in to see what sale he would give me the price for. And the price is 1,000 yards at $18.75 a yard, which comes to $18,750 to bring that whole
Should,
sand in.
should we be putting out to bid like?
Yeah,
we did
an
last time?
$18,000 contract, we should
Does
at
it have
least
to go
have
out for bid?
2, if not 3 people. So can you get a couple more prices?
I can try it.
And then, if you wanna do your bucket test,
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's right, I know, yeah.
I
That's
thought
right.
we were supposed to put it out to
Where
bid.
are we with
Yeah, that's what
salt?
he's gonna do, basically.
Salt, I got a hold of Morton Salt,
He's not
and,
gonna put it out to
they-
bid if
they're
he's gonna get 3
send me the
bids.
paperwork, I believe, next week,
Oh, that's-
Okay.
for the salt, and, they'll have a price, whatever the price is gonna be for the
Do you
salt.
have salt?
Should we
I
do,
have plenty of salt, I have
should we do a
salt to
sealed
start
bid
with now,
for
but
this sand?
I won't have any problem getting.
well, it's kinda hard now that we just
Yeah, we
publicly
just
said
gave-
what.
We gave the price already.
There's plenty of salt at the salt docks, I was down in Portsmouth this weekend.
Oh, I think she. Yeah, they had so much salt down there, I was like, I thought it was a new city that merged up there.
As long as we stick with Morton Salt, I don't have any problem with it.
They got a lot.
Is that the table salt people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that too, but if you
You're in all,
wanna eat,
into all kinds of salt.
That too, it's lots of salt, lots of
What they do
different
best.
kinds.
Where'd the chief disappear to?
I think
She's in the
she's in the back.
Did you have any public stuff, chief, or just all non-public?
I'll make a
Alright.
motion to go into
Well,
non-public.
hold on.
Okay.
Phyllis, did you have anything that you wanted to discuss?
No.
Anything else?
We're out of here.
Library's having a meeting today, I don't know what's happening with that, cause they made it at 6 o'clock, same time as us, so I know they're a meeting.
Bob
today.
has another question for you, Andy.
I'll get to, one sec. Speaking of library, I saw something online today that Casella Waste is gonna have a public,
They had it.
They had it
That was last night.
that was last night, all right. Why was it on Facebook?
I'm fine.
Bill?
No.
Bob?
Is this it for the meeting, other than a closed session?
Yeah,
Yes.
we're gonna go
All
into
right, then
non-public.
I'd like to leave these with you, Andy, if it's
Yes.
okay to sign. Can I just give you a brief,
Sure.
Good night.
so
Thank you.
Do you want him
everywhere
to sign them before?
I've initialed, you need to initial as
Can I?
well,
Okay.
and then sign down where it says, the next page.
All that money we're paying you and you don't have sign here stickers?
I'll sign tomorrow if you want. If you want me to, I will.
Right. I'll
So,
have Karen go
sign
through
it,
and mark it.
One of
and-
the, signature of owner, that's what you sign.
Okay,
So, and there's 5 copies there, so I'll pick them up tomorrow.
perfect.
Or if you can't get it done by tomorrow, I'll pick them up whenever.
I'll do it before I go home tonight.
Okay,
Thanks, Bob.
thank you, thank you all.
Make a motion for non-public in accordance with the 91A 311 A, B, C, D, E, and
I
I.
have to visit the room.
It's for,
Oh, he's gonna.
it's for hiring and for legal.
Let's, do the motion first, Ken, can you hold it for a second?
Sure.
Okay,
I'm right
For
behind.
for hiring and legal, anything else?
So first and second?
so,
Aye, aye,
Aye.
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 thank you.
Recorder's on.
Ken, you're not gonna do it 3 times to let you in.
You got it, Karen? Do we have another?